Hey, what's up guys? Maintain here, bringing you another StarCraft 2 broadcast. I'm going to be doing a pro cast today, and this is going to be with NEXlife. Spawning is the red Zerg player in the 9 o'clock position, and he's going to be spawning versus NuclearfOu, who's going to be the blue Terran player spawning in the 12 o'clock position. So we do have a TVZ. It is going to be on Slag pits, and this map is quite small. The distances between the bases are quite small, especially if the players spawn across from each other instead of next to each other like they are in this game. So the rush distance is going to be a little bit longer than it would be if they were spawning right here. But again, they are pretty close together. It looks like NEXlife is going to have his Overlord bringing it over to the Nuclear's base, and it is going to be able to get that scout off pretty quick, so he's going to know what the map locations are fairly quick. He's doing the extractor trick to get the extra drone, and both players are going to be extremely good players. They are professionals, and it is going to be a very high level match, so sit back and relax, enjoy, and we'll see what these guys do. I'm sure they can both show us some things, and it's great to learn from pro players, as you know, they just are doing so many things right. So it looks like it's going to be a standard opening here from Nuclear. He's going with the racks right in the front, and it looks like NEXlife actually has 15. It looks like he's going to go for a 15 pool here. Oh, and he actually is going to bring the drone down. It looks like he is going to go for a fast expand, and so he is going to be going for a macro style of play. He's going for the fast expand because he does spot the Overlord here. He brings the Overlord actually all the way into the base, which I'm kind of surprised about. So it is going to give away his location to Nuclear. If you bring it right here, you'll be able to see just the edge of the mineral line, and you will know that the player is there, and they won't be able to spot you. So it looks like he's going to give his position away to Nuclear. He doesn't really care too much about that, and actually Nuclear is getting down the double racks, so it actually is that could be a costly move, because he doesn't have to send his SV all over the map, because it looks like he is going to be doing some early aggression here, throwing down the double racks, and he is getting the morphing his command center into the orbital command as well. So we got the spawning pool coming down from NEXlife. Still no Vespene gas, but he's finally got the spawning pool on the way, and looks like he's going to throw down a Vespene gas as well. It looks like Nuclear is going to pump out a couple of Marines here, and he's getting another supply depot as well. And he has no Vespene gas either, so it looks like he is going to be doing some Marine harassment. He might try and throw down a bunker here, and good scouting by NEXlife to see if there is any bunkers going down out here. So that's one thing you can do: bring a drone down and do a little scouting out in front of the base. If this spawns and there's already 2 bunkers there or something along those lines, then it can be very deadly. Same with like a bunker in the back or something like that. So here we go. He's pulling SCVs. This is kind of like a Foxer style attack, where he's bringing all his Marines over, and some SCVs as well. He's leaving some still on the mineral line here, but he's bringing 4 or 5 to get down those bunkers, and it looks like they are going to have a pretty hard time defending this. The Zerglings are going to be running. I'm not sure what he's going to do. He's actually going to be trying to pick off some Marines that are coming the way, so he's going to be pulling those Marines back. This is actually a pretty hard position for NEXlife, as he does not have very many Zerglings. But he does have a queen. He's going to bring the queen over, and looks like the Zerglings are going to be going down, but the bunker does go down, and he's going to finish a second bunker as well, throwing down a third. And but fortunately for NEXlife, this is smart, because he cannot bring any more Marines over. So there's actually only 3 Marines mixed in here, so we have 3 bunkers and 3 Marines. So it looks like the Zerglings actually are going to try and run in here. They're not going to be able to do too much damage, though, because the Marines do hop into the bunker. But he has actually got the SCVs killing off the Zerglings out in the front, and he's going to bring the spine crawl over, which is pretty smart. He's actually producing 10 more Zerglings, and this bunker is still not quite finished here. Nuclear only has 2 SCVs left, so you got to be careful, and he does bring the Marines over. He was able to take out those he was able to pump out a few Marines and take out the Zerglings in the middle. So the Spinecrawler is actually going to be able to reach there, but he's going to pull it back a little bit, and he has actually got quite a few Marines here. This is a very tense moment for both players. Zerg is going to have a very difficult time holding this off. He's still pumping out more Zerglings, and the Marines here trying to get back into the bunker here. Ooh, he gets actually pretty kind of out of position here. They get actually a couple pop shots off. I don't know if he has any SCVs left. That one's got 3 Marines, and no, he does not have any SCVs over here. So this is going to be pretty hard for Nuclear to pull this off without any SCVs left. So the Zerglings running in here. There's 1 bunker down. But luckily for him, he actually got down 3 bunkers. So there's only 3 Marines left, but he only had 3. He does have 3 bunkers. So without the SCVs repairing, they are going to go down fairly fast, but the Marines are just going to shred these Zerglings while they're on the outside attacking the bunkers. So he's sending the Zerglings back over to the base to see if there's any Marines coming over. As you can see, there is not. So he can bring this Queen down. The Queen they do not have line of sight on the Queen, so the Queen can attack this bunker without getting hit. And there we go. It looks like NEXlife is actually going to hold this off. There are no Marines left over. So a very tense moment for both players. NEXlife actually has quite a few Zerglings, and Nuclear just still continuing to pump Marines. He's actually got another command center going down, as well as 2 more bunkers in his base, and the Zerglings out here going around in the middle position. Looks like she is going to push in with these Marines here, but they aren't going to be able to do too much as long as NEXlife can get his Zerglings back over. So here we go. They're going to try and pick off, if they can pick off this Queen, that actually is a big deal because he still only does have 1 Queen. He's got another one on the way, and looks like Zerglings are going to come in here. They are going to get a good surround, and there's not going to be much that Nuclear can do. So the Marines are taken out, and looks like that's going to be the end of the attack. But he does have the command center fishing up here. He still only has barracks. He does not have any factory or have any on the way. And but he is pumping 2 Vespines, so he is saving up some Vespine gas, and there goes down the factory there. So I'm also getting some tech lives on. I'm going to try and get some Marauders out, and maybe some stim pack or some shield upgrades as well. Alright, so both players starting up to ramp up their economies here, pumping out some drones and some SCVs. Looks like NEXlife still has his Lings out here trying to do some scouting, and it looks like the command center and orbital command does finish for Nuclear. So far a pretty tense battle. This is a shorter map, so there is room for a lot of aggressive play, and NEXlife actually did a great job of holding that off. Once the Terran players gets 3 bunkers out in the front of your base, it's actually very hard to defend, and he actually did a great job bringing those Zerglings out into the middle to prevent more Marines coming in. If he had let those Marines get all the way into the bunkers, then it could have been very deadly. And he's going to throw down an evolution chamber here, maybe worried about a little bit of Banshee or going for some upgrades. It looks like we have stim pack on the way, as well as NEXlife throwing down his 3rd. So he's going to get a stim out here, and he's going to actually be producing some SCVs. I wonder if he's going to... And there we go. There's shields on the way, so he's got some Marauders and some Marines out. He's actually going to bring a bunker down by his natural, and there's the lift off, so he can kind of reinforce the front here. Alright, so the 3rd on the way. Still no lair for NEXlife as he gets his 3rd up, and so that's pretty late. But as you can see, both these players have he's been pumping out a ton of drones. Let's take a look at the income tab. It is 46 over 33, so a pretty significant economic advantage for NEXlife. But since Nuclear is a Terran player, he is able to pull out the mules, and you can see that he's going to ramp up his mineral production here. So it is actually pretty even with the mules. So the 3rd base going up here, he's saturating a 3rd, and you can see all sorts of stuff on the way for both players. There is a starport on the way for for Nuclear, and also he's pumping out some Marines and finishing up stim and the shields for the Marines. Alright, so in NEXlife here, he's still not getting a lair, and there we go. He actually is now beginning to research the lair and continuing to pump Zerglings here. He does have a Baneling's nest finished now as well, and he is going to throw up. He's actually throwing up a spine crawler back, which is kind of interesting. I would imagine that he's worried about some sort of drop. And looks like here comes a Marine Marauder push from Nuclear. He's getting out a couple of siege tanks as well, and this could actually be fairly hard to defend. But here we go. NEXlife does throw it down. It does start producing. He actually has 13 Banelings on the way. I think he's going to be able to hold this off pretty easily. And there we go with great creep spreading. He sees exactly what's going on. He's going to bring some Zerglings in to try and pick off reinforcing units, and he's got the Banelings coming out here. These Banelings could actually be pretty deadly, but smart move by Nuclear, bringing his army off the creep, and he's actually going to be bringing down a few siege tanks. He does have a dropship out, so I wonder if he's going to go for some sort of a flank attack, or if he's just going to reinforce his main push there. Alright, so good scouting there. Zergling sacrifices himself to get a little bit of a scut off, and here we go. He's going to bring in the Zerglings. Stim is on the way, and that's a good job pulling back, and here we go. He's going to try and bring the Zerglings around the back to get us around, to bring in the Lings in the front, and he is going to be able to do it. And the Maraud is there still, but the Marines getting the brunt of that attack. You always want to end there. So the army does get annihilated by the Marines and Zerglings. Just too many, but the drop in the back, seeing if he can do some damage here. He's going to be able to pick off, it looks like, the spine crawler here, and maybe a couple of a couple of drones, but that is going to be about it. So the spine crawler does get its use, and looks like Spire is on the way. Interesting location, and this is just way oversaturated. That's because he did bring down the Zerg, the drones from up there. So he's going to be bringing some of those drones back, I would imagine, and bringing some over the third as well. And he's actually throwing down 3 spine crawlers here to prevent some sort of flank attack on the third. Alright, so siege tanks out in the front. He still does not have siege techs, so he cannot siege those tanks, and he's actually producing a third command center. So a pretty macro heavy game right now. Both these players really ramping up their economies, and this has been an intense match so far because of the short distance that they are separated by. But looks like this is interesting. There's 3 levels here, and he has Zerglings on all 3 of the levels to prevent some sort of. He is trying to take out that dropship there. So let's see. So spine crawlers on the third here. We've got burrow and centrifugal hooks on the way. He's probably going to try and burrow some of the banelings out in the middle of the map, and we also have some more dropships and some more siege tanks on the way for nuclear. He's producing a lot of units right now. He's producing more marines. He's producing siege tanks. He's got +1 weapons on the way, and looks like we're going to see some Mutalisk play here from NEXlife. This is an interesting location for the Spire. It's kind of susceptible actually to some sort of like an attack, even if it wasn't like a game-ending attack. If nuclear was able to push into the natural, then he could potentially take out that Spire. So I'm kind of surprised he didn't throw it like somewhere up in here or something like that. But these are great players, so I'm sure there's a method to the madness, so to speak. We got a 4th going down for NEXlife, and the